In this video, I'm going to teach you how to master Zed in just 10 days. I've been a Zed main for 10 years, don't ask me how, Zed is just that addictive. So I set up a plan for you guys to tell you what you should focus on learning each day in this 10-day journey so you can master him at the end of this video. The lessons are gonna be more advanced as the days go, and I will teach you more important info as the days go, so try to stick until the end of it because day 10 is going to be the most important. So without further ado, let's start with day 1. In the first day of learning Zed, you should learn how to deal with one of his biggest weaknesses. Zed is one of the most weak champions early levels. It's so bad that everybody is legit just shitting on you the first 2 levels. In order to get better with Zed, you need to deal with that weakness. Level 1 and 2, you're basically just gonna be surviving, trying to hit your opponent with your Qs or get some CS if you can. If your opponent is good, they will not let you breathe.
Please welcome Whoopmaster Adam.
Oh my god, bro.
So try not to lose too much HP from level 1 to 3, because if you do, you are fucked. A lot of the times we Zed mains like to follow this simple rule. Early game HP is greater than a few CS. But at level 3-4 you can start doing poke combos with your W Shadow. The best poke combo is to WE to slow them and then throw your Qs. Some opponents are still going to go aggressively on you even after level 4. Those guys get blinded by their rage of punishing Zed's early game that they cannot see the tower in front of them. They often end up seeing a grey screen after that. So yeah, Zed's early game is pretty ass, and you are going to get pushed under threat very often. You are also going to miss some CS, but that's normal. I suggest that you take Doran Shield against all range poke champions. That item will help you survive the laning phase easier, and your cheeks are not going to be clapped too hard. But take heart, because after the early laning phase on your first back you will probably get a pickaxe, and that's where Zed gets really strong in lane. That's where you get to be the one that holds the whip.
Oh my god, bro.
Today you will learn about Zed's primary resource. Like a lot of other champions, instead of mana, Zed uses energy. You see, when you run out of energy with Zed, you are good for nothing. You can't cast any abilities, so it is very important to know how to maintain your energy. If you just mindlessly cast your abilities, you will soon run out of energy, and that's where you can't do anything anymore. But how do you maintain all that energy? What is the best way of doing so? You see, Zed's W has a passive that restores energy depending on the level of the ability. If Zed and his shadows hit an ability on the same target, he restores energy. So if you hit 2 shuriken on the same target, you will restore some energy. Keep in mind that if you hit 3 shuriken, you will not gain more energy. They will restore the same amount as 2 shuriken. Also, this works if both you and your shadow hit E on the same enemy. So basically, if you use your W Shadow and hit 2 shuriken, you will get some energy back. But what's nice is that when your W is on cooldown, to get it faster back up, you can swap and hit E on your enemy. When Zed hits E, he reduces the cooldown of W by 3 seconds for each enemy hit. So on that way you can get the W back again and repeat the process. On that way you created yourself your own cobblestone generator, also known as infinite energy. Let me show you how I managed to cast my W 5 times in one single team fight by using this method.
Oh my...
In order to regain all of that energy that we learned about the day before, you need to know how to hit your shuriken. Today I'm going to teach you how you can hit your Qs more accurately. If Zed hits his shuriken, he can kill somebody, and if he misses, he can't. It sounds easy, but there is a lot of things that you need to know. So let's start from the laning phase. There is a level 1 trick that allows you to hit Q really easily. Whenever your opponent is coming back to lane, start to walk to them and to let them know you're going to throw your Q at them. The next step is just to throw it behind them because they will always try to dodge it, and that's how you hit it 100% of the time. Poking in lane when you get your W is pretty easy. First you throw your W plus E to slow your enemy, then throw your Qs. If you struggle hitting your Qs, try to do it a bit slower instead of rushing your Qs immediately after slowing them. When you get to level 6, here is where things get interesting. My favorite trick to secure hitting your Qs against immobile champions is the insta Q cast after ultimate. It works so often, and one of the reasons why is because a lot of those mage champions try to CC you with their ability after you land from your ultimate, so they stand still and you have an easy time hitting your Qs. If you know that your opponents don't have flash up, you can even go for the triple Q combo. To do that combo, first throw your WE to slow them, then ultimate and then spam your Qs to insta-cast it while they are still slowed. Also, one way of securing that you hit your Qs is to do the Q plus flash combo. It's pretty fast and your enemies usually never expect it. Okay, today it's finally the time that you learn about one of the most important mechanics with Zed, and that is swapping. As you may know, Zed can swap 2 times, with his W shadow and with his R shadow. With that you can do many tricks. Let me teach you the combos that you absolutely have to know. Of course, one of the biggest reasons why you would use swaps with Zed is to dodge stuff, but there is also a structured way of using your swaps to accomplish great combos. One technique I like to call the Forgotten W. Basically, you swap at the last possible second of your W duration to surprise your enemy. It can work in laning phase a lot of the times, especially together with the insta Q combo that I taught you earlier. Later in the game, that same combo is very important to know with Zed because swapping in the last second allows you to cast your W again after ulting, which is very broken. Dancing swaps are the deadliest, boys. Another swapping combo that's really useful with Zed is the double jump. It's a really good kiting combo. It goes like this: first cast your W shadow, then ultimate, then come back to your W shadow, and then later if needed you can jump back to your ultimate shadow, which is why it's called the double jump combo. You can use it almost in every game, mostly in situations where you want to kite your enemies. Another swapping combo that you can do is something called the Unseen Shadow trick, where you ult and before swapping back, place W on the ground. This combo can be really fast and sometimes your enemies didn't even notice that you placed another W shadow before going back to your ultimate shadow, but when the right time comes you can just swap back and clap them. And if you really want to confuse the shit out of your enemies, you can do something like this. Combine the double jump combo and the Unseen Shadow trick and your enemies are gonna be left alone looking like they saw an UFO.
You what?
On day 5, it's important that I teach you the core identity of Zed. He is an assassin. He's not a mage, he's not a bruiser, he's not a tank, but an assassin. And you might be asking, but Fiddle, isn't it obvious? Why are you even saying that? The reason why I'm saying that is because there are many Zed players who don't play him like that, or they don't fully understand Zed's assassin playstyle. When you get a lead, you have to know what to do with it. You have to be sneaky like an assassin and search for your next prey. When you are fed with Zed, you can invade the enemy jungle, which is a super good spot to be in. You can easily escape with Zed's shadows if you need to, but the most important thing is that the enemy team doesn't know you are here, so you can use that to your advantage and catch somebody off guard. What I'm trying to say here is that when you are fed with Zed, be an actual assassin. Don't be a mage who just stands there with team and pokes. Don't be a bruiser who forces fights everywhere for no reason thinking you can win. And also don't be a tank who jumps into many enemies thinking you can survive. But instead, be an assassin. be smart, be patient, be sneaky. Look for a prey to catch off guard either in side lane or in the jungle. If you want to win games, it's important to do something with your lead, so learn how to be a true assassin. Oh my... Today I will learn you how to properly teamfight with Zed. Ooh. There are two main important things when it comes to teamfighting with Zed. First is who to focus, and second is your positioning. Who to focus seems like an easy thing to do, but in reality so many of my students get confused. But Fiddle, isn't it obvious? I should just focus the squishes in teamfights and not the tanks. Yes, you should. That's why you shouldn't care about the Jimmy on Malphite stacking armor. Don't think to yourself, oh fuck, I need to get Black Cleaver second so I can do something against Jimmy. Nobody fucking cares about you, Jimmy. You see, there are so many people who complain that you can't build Zerilda plus Black Cleaver together anymore, but guys, we are not trying to kill tanks with Zed. We are here to eliminate squishy targets, so tanks should be invisible in our eyes. Don't even think about them. Don't look at their items. Do you see Jimmy in that bush? Me neither. Okay, and the second most important thing is your positioning. If you can find a really good position before the teamfight even begins, you kinda already won the teamfight. Zed loves to flank. Always look for positions where you can collapse the enemy team from the sides or from the back.
That's what she said!
Let me show you a few examples. When there is a teamfight, you never really want to be grouped with your team if that's possible. You can use Zed's mobility to find good spots to be in before the teamfight. When the fight started in this clip, because of my good positioning, I could easily focus the most important target here, and that is Kayle. After that, I finished them off one by one. One down. Another man down. Another down. In this clip, Mordekaiser pulled me into him and I completely ignore him because I want to focus the right target, and that is Twitch and Yuumi. When the main carry is dead, it's pretty easy to clean the rest off. On your journey of becoming a Zed master, you need to have another champion that you can rely on. So today I want you to figure out what champion do you want to play besides Zed. And you might be thinking, Fiddle, what the fuck are you on? You're teaching us how to be a Zed master player and now you're saying that we should learn another champion? Yes. You see, Zed is a popular champion, so he gets banned a lot of the times. He also gets picked away from time to time. You can't be dodging the champion select every single time, so when Zed gets banned you need to be ready, otherwise you're just gonna end up losing a ton of games. Every great Zed main has a secondary champion that he can pull off. It would be nice if you picked an AP champion for your secondary main. For me it's Ahri, for Ella Stylish it was Vel'Koz, and for BZ it's Sylas. There are actually many benefits to having a secondary main. If Zed gets banned or picked, you don't have to dodge and you can still win. If you're having a full AD team and you're playing against many bruisers and tanks, you can skip Zed for that game and pick something AP. On that way you're going to save your team and yourself from suffering from a painful game. And the third reason is that it actually feels refreshing to take a break from playing just one champion too much. You see, for me Zed is by far the most fun champion, but sometimes it feels like a nice break when I play something else I'm good at. And when I return to Zed, he feels even more refreshing and fun to play. So that's why, in my opinion, if you actually want to climb to master with Zed, you need to find your secondary main to make that climb so much easier. Yes, this could be you, but you need to have the patience of a monk to achieve that. When people ask me what is the most important skill of a good Zed player, I always tell them it is patience. Most mistakes that you do with Zed come from a place where you aren't patient enough. Zed is a pretty explosive and fun champion There is always an urge that makes you go in all of the time, but in order to be better you have to pick the right time to go all in. To achieve that, it takes a lot of practice and patience. Let me show you good examples of why patience is so important on Zed. In this clip, I'm about to fight Syndra 1 vs 1. I first ulted her here, but I don't throw my Qs instantly, but instead I'm patient. The reason why is because I know that she's about to start dancing to try to dodge my Qs, and I let her, because if I'm not patient enough and if I miss my Qs, I'm dead here. You see, if you're patient with your Qs, you can make your enemies dance like monkeys. While they're dancing, you're just dealing damage with your auto attacks, and after some time they will stop dancing and try to run away, and that's where you throw your Qs. But it's not just about throwing your Qs. Sometimes you have to be patient with how you engage in a fight. Most of the times your enemies are actually going to outplay themselves, so be patient and wait for your time to strike. Never force things with Zed, because if you impatiently engage, you are going to end up dead most of the time. It's a skill to learn how to be patient with Zed and how to strike at the right time. And that's what differentiates a Master Zed player from a bad one. Today, my friends, I'm going to teach you a very important concept, so pay close attention. Zed cannot work if you don't find the consistency to make him work. But Fiddle, what does that mean? To be consistent with Zed means that you can do something that works consistently well in most games. In order to climb, you need to be consistent. You need to find a strategy that works more often than other strategies, so when you play 100 games you will win more than you lose. Every season you need to find something that consistently works on Zed. Let me show you an example of Season 13. The thing that worked consistently well with him is to rush Hydra, farm until you get like 4 or 5 items and then absolutely destroy teamfights. That was the best and most consistent strategy that you can choose to play with Zed. Anything else didn't work so well because it just wasn't so consistent. So in order to make Zed work, you need to find something that is consistent. That's the most important factor that will make sure that you eventually climb the ranks. What I learned recently that makes Zed consistent in this season is this item, Voltaic Cycle Sword. You see, that item not only gives you good stats like AD, ability, haste and lethality, but also gives you some extra damage. But the biggest reason why this item makes Zed so much more consistent is because of the slow. That item allows you to hit so much more shuriken than you would usually, which of course gives you more consistency. Also, I think that Zed uses the energized effect better than any other champion. With your swaps you can charge the item so much faster than any other champion. I win many more games when I include that item in my builds. That's why I realized that this item gives Zed so much consistency. Every split what makes Zed consistently perform well is going to be different. So what I recommend you to do is to try out different strategies and see what key factors of that strategy make Zed do well, and try to implement that knowledge to find consistencies that you can use every game. Today I will show you the final and most important lesson if you want to reach Master with Zed. Be humble, that's it.
What?
And before you ask me, Fiddle, what does that even mean and how is that even so important? Let me explain. Being truly humble is the first step and most important step that you need to improve. When you can't climb, it's mostly because you are the one that's not good enough to do so. Blaming your team for not being able to climb is very futile and it just enables you to improve. Admitting that, hey, maybe I'm the problem, so I should only look for my mistakes to improve, is what will make you a great player, trust me.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Have you ever wondered why Korean Z mains like Z99 or OnZ are so insanely good? I have never seen them flaming their own teammates, but I saw them being mad and criticizing their own mistakes almost every time I watched them. That's why they're so great.
Wow.
Every single time I was on a huge win streak and climbed to divisions that I was never before at, I had a huge loss streak before that. You see, losing made me realize how bad I actually was and made me realize my mistakes. Without losing, it's not possible to climb. So don't be sad if you're losing a lot of games in a row with Zed. You need to look at them as opportunities that teach you how to be a great player. Humble yourself and just look at your own mistakes. Losses are just stepping stones that will forge you into a better player. So yeah, be humble. I know it sounds kinda cliché or cringe, but it's the most important advice that I can give you. You see, if you're not willing to be humble, it's like you're stopping yourself from reaching your highest potential. Holy shit, that was clutch. And that's it. At this point in the video, you are probably master already. I'm just kidding, it's not going to be that fast, but you'll learn the core identity of a Master Z player. Now the most important thing is to go on the Rift and improve, and even more important is to have fun while doing so. Ooh! She did not expect the unseen triple shuriken. And that's it from me, guys. See you in the next video.